IAMA, I am Ramon Solhkhah, an expert in psychiatry and behavioral health. I'm trying to address the crisis of high rates of anxiety and suicides among young people. AMA. So many students report feeling hopeless and empty. Suicides among young people are rising. Young people are desperate for help, but a frayed system keeps failing them despite its best efforts. I am Ramon Solhkhah, the Chair of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health at the Hackensack Meridian School of Medicine at Seton Hall. I've seen the tragic effects of mental illness firsthand. Ask me anything, proof, thoughts and behaviors can be reduced. If you are in crisis, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or text TALK to 741,741.
Is there any difference in the amounts of suicide and depression based on medical issues, like ADHD or say dyslexia, compared to the normal average students?
ADHD and dyslexia are psychiatric conditions that can increase the risk of depression and anxiety. You can imagine that difficulty students would face as it relates to school and socialization. These stressors are significant, but with proper treatment of ADHD and dyslexia, will certainly minimize the risk of depression and ultimately the risk of suicide. Dr. Solhkhah.
What are some of the biggest factors in suicide, do you think? And this one is important to me personally. What do you think directionless young adults should do to get over the existentialism of not feeling that could ever succeed in more traditional careers? Me personally, I'm 18, and the only path I see going forward is to become a writer, or join the military, which the outlook on me doing is not good.
I'm sorry to hear that you're struggling, but I'm so glad you reached out and asked me the question. Please know that you're not alone. Many adults have difficulty in deciding a career choice, and these decisions can be daunting at times. Talking to someone is a good first step to help sort through these issues. School guidance, mental health therapist, or vocational therapist are available in most community organizations. Also, you can also speak to someone on a hotline, 1-800-273-8255, or if you need immediate attention, or go to your local emergency room where you can get immediate attention to your needs. Dr. Solhkhah.
How big of a role does social media, like Reddit, play in the massive uptick in depression among users?
Social media is certainly an outlet for many people that suffer from depression utilize. Just like most things, there are pluses and minuses in having social media account. Social media can provide necessary support and understanding by connecting them to groups of people with similar issues. This can be very beneficial if done in a thoughtful manner. It can also not be so beneficial if the interaction leads to feeling more isolated and not finding the support that is needed. If you use the AMA on Reddit today, this is a great venue to seek information and provide the necessary information needed in helping those that are feeling depressed. Thanks for a great question. Dr. Solhkhah.
What do you think about the current research on psychedelic-assisted therapy, specifically psilocybin? Does the idea that set and setting could be more important than the specific psychedelic being used suggest that we may be coming at drug-based therapies wrong by prescribing drugs and not including behavioral changes and life situation adjustments to go along with them?
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 17.3 (7.1%) of adults suffer from depression in the United States. Of those, some will be resistant to classical treatment of depression. There are some studies involving drugs such as ketamine that have proven to be effective. Psilocybin research is ongoing, but still too early to determine if it would be an effective intervention for the treatment of depression. Antidepressant treatment alone is beneficial in some forms of depression, but a combination of medications and therapy are by far the best treatment modality for depression. Whether psilocybin will contribute to being a beneficial drug is too early to tell. Dr. Solhkhah. How can third world young people address this where mental health is a topic of stigma and no one really bothers about it? Stigma is a significant concern when trying to address mental illness. Education is key and needs to be tailored to the cultures and customs of your area. Here is a great article that can help give you some insight to your question. Rs. What are your thoughts on Michelle Carter and the more recent case of Inyang, where people are being charged for pressuring their loved ones into suicide?
Does the psychology back the idea that a person can be forced into killing themselves because of their significant other's wishes? How do these cases differ from typical cases of bullying into suicide, and how are they the same?
These are very unfortunate cases where someone suffering from depression reached out to someone that thought they could confide in. Depressed patients are vulnerable and should be treated as such. Suggesting or telling them to do something that is harmful is an act of maleficence. In these cases, the depressed person was willing and open to hear the other person's thoughts and opinions, whereas in bullying is the complete opposite of that. Rs.
In your opinion, why do you think anxiety in particular is so high in young people? Is there a particular experience or central factor that plays in high anxiety? My brother and sister, 23 to 25, were diagnosed with moderate severe anxiety and were given meds to help them cope. I have no idea why they have anxiety issues, as we were all brought up in the same house and experienced almost everything together. The only difference between our upbringing was that they went to live on dorms for college while I commuted from home. I do not know why they have anxiety issues, and they don't either.
I agree that young people have unique stressors that contribute to increasing levels of anxiety. In particularly, internet access. In a world of immediate gratification like having items coming to your home in 2 days or less, not having to leave your house to get food, etc., young people struggle with regulating their distress and tolerance. The need for an immediate fix, if not obtained, may lead to increased anxiety. If support systems, such as friends and family, are not ample enough to help mitigate this, anxiety can certainly increase. Rs.
How do you feel about weed for depression and anxiety?
The research shows no clinical evidence that cannabis is beneficial as a treatment for depression or anxiety at this time. Rs.
Have you looked at atmospheric deposition of elemental mercury? Some places like Utah have a yearly deposition of enough mercury to cause hand tremors in dentists, who, in their golden days, had a disproportionately high amount of suicides, possibly due to mercury exposure.
I have not, but I'm interested in learning more following. Rs. Thanks for watching, listening. Don't forget to subscribe.